backyard for Calvary's fireworks trailer.
Oh, wow, 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 wow. Yeah, big clown guy over here. All right, it is 5 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get started with the work session for our meeting on Monday next week. First item is approval of minutes. June 12th, 2023, 5 p.m. work session, June 20th, 23, 9:30 a.m. work session, and June 20th, 2023, 10 a.m. council meeting. Anybody have any questions? All right, set public hearings, resolution 23-169, approve abatement of unsafe conditions at 305 7th Avenue Northwest, set public hearing for August 7th, 2023 at 6 p.m.
No changes on that one.
All right, any questions?
Hey David, I know we're just setting that one and we're not discussing it, but why did it take so long for us to get around to that one? Because what has that been, 3-4 years since that house burned down?
It ran through the process. I don't know what happened to it prior to our working it.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Don't have a better answer for that.
Good deal.
All right, any other questions? Resolution 23-104, approve abatement of unsafe conditions at 16 Cherry Street Northeast. Public hearing was moved to July 3rd, 2023.
Well, I think last week or so, I got the deed on that, but that's the one that we pulled because it's sold, and we don't have them under notice yet to be here for a public hearing. So if y'all want to continue moving in that direction, then we'll need to get that started. But that
So we potentially would need to set one for further down, set a public hearing.
Mhm.
That makes sense, because they haven't been given notice.
Right, they've
Okay.
not received any notice, and y'all are more knowledgeable about what's going on with that property than
Well,
I
I just
am.
knew it was gonna sell, so.
You'll-
Yeah, I'll get with you. I think it's being sold and it's supposed to close in July. They weren't sure on a date yet, but we definitely need to send them a notice and let them see what they're saying about the demolition.
Well, I knew that it had sold and felt like it was probably gonna sell again.
That's
But
correct.
if it sells again before y'all hold the public hearing, then we're still not gonna
Same
be in a
position.
better position with the prospective buyer. So do we wanna just hang loose and see if that sale happens, or?
I think we got a week before, but it makes sense to me just to give them the appropriate notice that we would, if this was a new one coming on, to set a public hearing for later, like we just discussed on the one previous, because it's a new owner.
Yeah,
Well,
I did go by and the building looked secure. I don't know if anybody's checked it out to make sure, but I didn't walk around it. I drove past it just to
I
look.
think
'Cause I know that you and I discussed
put
that
some
previously.
stuff back up to kinda secure it a little bit.
I mean, the
but-
roof's falling in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, there's been stuff actually pulled off of that roof and removed from there. So, yeah, it's not good, but if they sell it again, then we're back to square one. Before we have I guess July is it the 3rd or the
Third.
5th that we'd have it?
The meeting is the
The
3rd.
3rd and 17th.
So we can get it on that one. That's what, you want just,
Yeah, we'll work on that this
Okay.
week and get back with you.
okay.
All right, any
Thank
other
you.
questions? Ordinance 23-4558, approved pre-zoning request 141723 for 19.59 acres, more or less located at 2709 Beltline Road Southwest to M1A Expressway Commercial District. Public hearing was set June 5th, 2023.
Yes, this is the property there immediately behind the Holiday Inn Express that backs up to McIntyre Lane. They are looking at a multifamily project on this. So it's kind of a two-part. There's the zoning for the M1A, which also requires a use appeal to BOZA, which is also in process.
Do we know what district that would be?
It's contiguous to District 5.
Okay, I thought so. I was just making sure.
I thought he knew the answer to that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes those run together. I figured it was.
So will there be 2 points of egress?
That is still being worked out with the developer. All of those details are still, it's got to go through our full technical review process. So they've got to get this done first. They're finalizing a site plan,
So it could be Tim's Way and McIntyre.
potentially.
Old Moulton.
Old Moulton,
Moulton,
so
excuse
you've already got Tim's Way that connects to Old Moulton. It also has an egress out onto the Beltline, so you already have 2 points established. There's some talk of extending Tim's Way further up to have even more access, and then potentially,
Development. The other
development
way.
more
Yeah.
to the north. So there's a lot that, could still happen on the property, and it's just kind of trying to balance, how we see that property progressing.
What's it zoned now?
It's not currently, so this is a
Where the
pre-zoning.
annexation's on
So the
there.
annexation is on the end of the agenda as well. So you'll actually be voting on both the pre-zoning and the annexation on the same agenda.
And then assuming the pre-zoning and annexation pass, they immediately get to go to BOZA for the use permitted on appeal for the multifamily.
They will actually be going to BOZA tomorrow and seeking a conditional use appeal so that upon the vote on Monday, if it is a affirmative vote, they would automatically get that use appeal and be able to move forward with their site plan. It's all working with them in their due diligence period. That's how it's kind of landed and why it looks a little different than some of the previous developments.
All right, any other questions? All right, we've got 11 or so of weed abatements. David, anything of note?
No, sir, no changes on any of them.
All right, any questions? All right, resolutions. Resolution 23-181, approve replacement of STP and entry boots and repair of conduit to city compound fuel island. And I don't know if we have any questions or if that Daniel's not here, but do you want to, John, is that the one you had? Yeah. If John's got the sheet, if anybody has any questions or if y'all have anything on that.
Just the cost is $24,569.
And it's for the fuel pump?
I can't comment on the technical piece. I saw a picture, but that's out of my wheelhouse.
STP.
Yeah, thank you.
That's sump.
That is submergible turbine pump. That's the pump that pumps the fuel out of the tank to the dispensers.
Okay, and he's having some kind of issue with that.
Yeah.
We've discussed with him.
Yeah, they're failing.
Yeah. All right, any other questions?
It's an ADEM compliance issue as well. Can't let them fail.
All right, resolution 23-182, approve change order number 2 for TTL Incorporated for additional CQA and CNT services for the construction of cell 16. Wanda?
Hi, Wanda Tyler, landfill and recycling. Landfill and recycling. Of course, we're still in construction with cell 16. We're almost there, though. We're almost there. This is change order number 2 from TTL. You know, we hired TTL back in April of 2022 for $82,000. We've had one, the first change order for $68.45, and this one is for $36,119.47 to finish the work. As you know, we've been in construction for quite some time, and it's gone over about 5 months more than what we expected due to the weather.
All right, any questions? All right, resolution 23-183, approve $5,000 sponsorship for the Dia de los Muertos event.
Kyle Demeester, Finance. This is formally to get the funding for the presentation the folks made a couple weeks ago. Same as last year, $5,000 sponsorship for that event that's being held. I think it's November 2nd.
Yeah. All right, any questions? Resolution 23-184, approved DYS Central Parkway lease addendum. Brandon?
We had a building at, actually at gym next to us, Aquadome. And Aquadome had to use a room because they brought somebody over. And so it made our tutoring program without a room. So what we're gonna do is, at our building that we're in now, we need another room for tutoring. So we're gonna move our staff over to the Central Park so we have more room for our tutoring.
All right, any questions? So it's just an additional room in that?
Yes, sir, just one office so we can move somebody out.
200 square feet,
Sir?
200 square feet, I think.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So just adding that to the lease.
Yes, sir, they're adding 150 to the lease, yes, sir.
Okay.
At the same time.
All right, any questions? Thanks, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Ordinance's first reading, ordinance 23-4559, approve amendments to solid waste definitions, section 19-1, Code of Decatur, Alabama.
So I am proposing that we change this ordinance, which governs our fees at the landfill. The last time we increased the fees at the landfill was 2014. And I'm proposing, right now it's $26 a ton, plus the $1 charge that we have to pay ADEM, so it's $27 a ton. I'm proposing that we go up to $30 total, which is $27 a ton plus the $1 fee. Now that's for someone that brings in, let's say, a truckload of garbage.
29 a ton?
It'd be 29 a ton plus the $1 fee,
Gotcha.
so it's 30 a ton.
Yep.
That we'll quote a customer. So that is for a regular C&D or garbage, a truckload of that. But also I'm proposing that we increase the other fees. And I don't know, just the price of doing business now has increased over the past almost 10 years, whether or not it's equipment, whether or not it's the opening, as y'all can see, of a sale, or the closure. Because once we open 16, I've already talked to Purite McAnally and Nathan, and we're planning 17. I won't do this again. I won't wait until we're ready. We got to put in infrastructure, because actually our infrastructure stops at 16. So we got to go to the end of the property, put in that leachate line that goes all the way down for 17 through 19, those cells. And also, we've got to make a few changes at the scale house. Our scale house is the hub, the money part of the facility. One of the things, since we've gotten so much traffic from Franklin County, is the fact they're used to a facility that has scales on both sides, which is something I was hoping to do in the next couple of years, but it seems like we'll have to do it sooner. And I say that because our tonnage, I know Kyle presented a presentation that talked about how our enterprise fund had flatlined the first of the year. Well, in February, we had 16,865 tons. In March, it went up to 28,550. And it was mainly because we added some Essity from Barton, Alabama, but also the fact that Franklin County Cherokee landfill closed. And we're getting all of that traffic. Right in May, we're at 29,000 tons. So, and we're averaging normally between 18,000 to 22,000 a month. So we have significantly increased. So that's why I'm already projecting, sell the future, sell 17, and so on. But after we open sale 17, of course, we got the closures of 2 through 11, okay? But, that's paid for elsewhere. But we also have to close by mandate 14 and 15. So we got a lot of construction that's going to be happening in the next few years at the landfill. And as a result, I'm proposing this increase. Now, do I need to go through each increase, or?
It's up to them, but.
Okay.
It's an increase across the board. We can, you can send it to them, but she's got a sheet that shows it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess my only question, I mean, where did we base is this based off what other landfills have done, or? You know,
Yeah,
is it-
I mean, in
okay.
comparison to, well, I can get a fee schedule from Morris Farms, and that's the closest one in Lawrence County. So it ranges depending on the customer. But in regards to Huntsville, which is our next closest, it's $27 a ton for C&D, and it's $33 a ton for garbage. So we are still more affordable than,
But competitive, I mean,
Yes.
more affordable,
but competitive, yes.
yeah, I don't know what we'd rather be.
Right, well,
I think we'd
you
rather
know,
be competitive.
I mean, we are an enterprise fund
Yeah.
with the municipality, so as, you know, we were talking today, of course, we can't make a profit, but we have to, you know, but like I said,
We
things
have
have
a lot of
increased.
projects and
Definitely.
prices for every time you ask us for something.
I
It's
know, it's
more
in
and
the
more
millions, I know,
expensive,
so.
so. I guess that would be my only, if we can see maybe some data that shows what other landfills, and maybe,
Yes.
I don't know if it's possible, but we could kind of find maybe what they've done since 2014, if
Okay.
anything.
Yeah.
Just to
Yeah,
make
the
sure.
authority is very open with
Yeah.
theirs, so yeah, definitely.
That'd be helpful for me, but.
Okay.
Any other questions? And those are both those ordinances there, right?
The other ordinance.
Okay, I'll talk about that one.
Okay, sorry.
Any other questions on the first one?
She actually talked about the next one this time, now she'll,
Oh, I'm sorry, did I talk about the wrong one?
no, it's fine, I'm just saying.
Okay.
Well, which one, what are you talking about?
She's got, there's storage
Yes.
containers, she's gonna show you, and there, she's gonna have a charge for that. Here she is to share that with you.
All right, go ahead,
Okay,
Wanda.
so on our property, we allow our contractors that do business with us to drop open top boxes. And it's any, you know, right now, you know, they can have as many as 10 out there, which is hard to manage because in our permit, we are not allowed to have any containers with garbage in them. So managing them, the contractor not to drop a box that they shouldn't has been a challenge over the past few years. So what we're requesting is that we put in an ordinance and put in some rules. Maximum of 4 boxes, $25 per box per month. And if they do drop a box with garbage or trash in it, that it is a fine, and we're $50 a day. So they'll understand we're serious, because if I get a visit from the state, they're fining us because of it.
That's
So-
$50 on top of their
Yes.
$25.
Would
Yes.
that cover any fines the state would implement?
In regards to if there was garbage, yes.
Okay.
It would.
How many do you have out? I rode out there the other day. It looked like you have a lot, right?
Yeah, it's about 34 today when I counted. It was 34 out there.
Let me go back one, not
Uh-huh.
to disagree with you, but just, it's hard to predict what the state might do as far as the fine is.
Definitely. Well, that's true. That's true. That's very true.
We think-
In regards
we think that
to,
will be somewhat covered.
yes, in regard, yeah,
And
and-
that's the point of doing it.
exactly.
And that's my
That's the
fear
point.
is we come and get fined by the state $100 a day and we're only charging 50 a day. So if we need to charge 100 a day, let's charge 100 a day.
Right, I understand. Yep. Okay.
All right, any questions on that? Thanks, Wanda.
Thank you.
That was a lot of stuff today.
I know, right?
All right, ordinance 234562, approved gas ordinance additions to section 23-231, and Gary, I'll read the other one too. Ordinance 234563, approved gas rate customer eligibility revisions in section 23-231 of city code.
All right, thank you, President Ladner and council. I guess to start off with, let me just refresh your memory. Back in 2018, the Utilities Board and the council approved resolutions for us to enter into these discounted contracts where that we can achieve discounts because we are a municipal-owned city utility gas system. And so we did that, and I guess the parameters around the discounts that achieved those discounts for our gas customers, they started getting achievable around 2020. And so we started doing those contracts to get those discounts from 2020, and we just finished up the last one. It starts, as a matter of fact, it starts in July, which is just a little over a week from now. That covered all of our residential and commercial customers. So we've been really concentrating on getting those for our residential commercial customers. And now comes I guess the next version of that, where we can expand into our industrial customer base. So the two different resolutions, the first one that you've got is for industrial customers that are not connected to the Decatur Utilities system. They are customers like Indorama that we don't have a connection with, like ULA that we don't have a connection with. So those customers out on the fringes that chose to go either with Wheeler Basin or connect to the pipeline or however they get their gas, which that's two basic ways to get it if it's not from Decatur. So those are out there, and through these discounted processes, we can go out and do a contract with them, which is a NASB contract, and it's a standard contract that's used throughout the gas industry to do these deals, and we can go get those, and when we get that discount, we will end up sharing that discount, some of it with them, which helps reduce their price, their energy cost, and because we can bring the deal to them and we're the municipal that can do that, we get some discount out of that too. So we like to look at that as a win-win for everybody, the customer and for DU and of course the city. So this first ordinance that you have before you here, we'll look at it, and I'll hit just a couple of highlights for you so that you have a flavor of what we're looking at. That's not the one. All right, that's the ordinance 234562. It's about a 3-page document. If you have one there with you, I think it was probably provided to you. So this one, if you look under, about middle ways under I, there, that's creating a new rate class schedule 100, and that just pertains to these customers that are on the outside of DU but still in our service area. So we're going to talk about transportation customers, which are on DU, in just a minute in this other ordinance. If you look under item number 1, the first bullet, it says, you know, the term of these contracts can only be from 2 years to 10 years, which with our residential commercials, because they are a captive customer to the city and DU, we can go out to 30 years on those, and we do that. So this sort of limits what we can do for these customer classes. If you look at the third bullet, the last one on the bottom of the page, they've got to be located within our service area. That doesn't mean it's got to be connected to DU, but in our general service area. It's sort of broad, but that's sort of the definition of that. If you go to the next page, that top paragraph, these customers have to do at least 100 MCF a day, which that's what a transport customer has to do. That's a pretty good sized customer for DU, and all of our industrial customers do meet that. So that's a requirement. It goes on in number 3 on page 2, talking about this NASB contract, which stands for North American Energy Standards Board, common contract. It's used in these type arrangements and these kinds of prepaid deals, and so that's sort of the contract we'll use. It's been proven, it's been established. Number 4 just establishes the price rate mechanism that they will use. It's either the gas daily report, which we get a copy of, or it's going to be the first of the month index. That's common indices that's used. We use them. The gas business uses them. That's a pretty standard pricing mechanism. So that's sort of the key points that I wanted to bring up with this one for those customers that are not connected to the DU system to establish this rate ordinance. Our board has approved this at our last board meeting, and so we're passing it on, seeking city council approval. And with that, I'll entertain any questions that you may have about it, or any comments you'd like to share.
So this is not a rate increase?
It's not a rate increase. As a matter of fact, there's not a particular markup that's with this rate ordinance for these that are outside the city limits. This is where we can just buy the gas like or buy it for them, and we get a discount, and we keep a little of the discount and share the discount with them. So overall, it's a reduction in the cost of gas.
So that's volume driven, Gary, or?
No, it's done, well, in a way, it's done by the actual deal that gets done. What will end up.
It's just prepaying?
That's correct. And we can't do this on our own by ourselves. The deals that we're doing where there's several utilities that are pooling their volumes together to make it economical feasible to achieve the discounts.
You have to have the volume, though, to get the discount.
That's correct.
That's why these industries are not able to get that same discount.
Well,
that we know of.
That's correct, but the industries are not a municipal tax exempt utility, and that's where the real test comes in. If you can participate in these deals, is you've got to be a tax exempt municipal utility.
So you guys are pretty confident that this will be effective, that our industries and others will be interested in participating?
We do. As a matter of fact, we've got one industry that's sort of approached us with this. They're very interested in it. It's our largest industry here in Decatur, natural gas user. They have requested us to send them a draft NASB contract for them to begin reviewing. There's a deal that starts, that's going to close the end of July. They're very interested in getting in on this deal, and we need these changes in this rate ordinance to make it where we can do those deals with them, and so they're very interested in it.
Okay. And I know you had mentioned if we could double vote would be helpful for that.
Yes, and I guess for the reasons I just mentioned, it's not really us pushing to get this done in an immediate time frame, but this industry does want to get in on this latest deal that's going. You know, it's not a set time when these deals go on and start. So this one happens to be coming up. There's enough volume with other utilities to do a deal. And so they are very interested in getting in on this particular deal to start achieving discounts and savings on their energy bill. So that's sort of why we're pushing this a little bit, and would like for you guys to consider immediate consideration at next week's council meeting.
Okay. Any questions? Thanks, Gary.
Okay.
Ordinance 234560, approve annexation request 37423 for approximately 19.59 acres located at 2709 Beltline Road Southwest. First reading June 20th, 2023.
Yes, this is the annexation that goes with the pre-zoning earlier in the agenda.
All right, any questions? All right, our council meeting next week is July 3rd, Monday, work session at 5:30 and meeting at 6. Anything else from any of you guys? Mr. Demeester?
Received an email this morning about an HVAC unit that went out at the East Center. Want to try to get that taken care of. This is a note from Kurt, our maintenance manager. They're 1999 models, and this one is too old and not feasible to repair. So the quote to repair the one unit is $7,869. So bring it to your attention to potentially, if given permission, to add it to the agenda for the 30th.
Yeah, we need to do that. It's getting
Yeah,
hot.
it's gonna be 100 degrees on
Yeah.
Friday, so.
All right.
Do we?
And I will make note too, there are 9 units in that facility, and he's working with Carrier to come up with a game plan to address the others.
Okay.
They're also all 1999 models, so.
So the other 8 are keeping it
They're fine.
manageable in
I
there.
think so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my office.
Till they break, yeah. All right, anything else? Mayor?
Yeah, this just came out. I'll just share it kind of on the record. Some of you may have noticed that Moulton Street, East Moulton Street from 1st to 2nd was shut down today so they can erect a crane there for the the parking deck. That will continue on probably through Wednesday. So residents need to look for alternate routes during that time. And then it could come back and happen later on as well. Okay.
Yeah, it sounded like it was gonna be used. Yeah, it was gonna be used sporadically over the next month and a half or so, and then there will be some demo time.
That's all I have.
Okay, anything else from council? All right, we are adjourned, thanks.